Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Shurina. I'm your host. I'm your Brains Coach. And it is here my job to bring to you all the brain news, all the brain tools, so you feel, look, and do your absolute best. As I'm working on my marketing, redefining my whole brand and mission and a lot of things in my business, I'm thinking about the most value that I can bring to you folks. And as I was reading some books about marketing, building brand and bringing value to people, and as I was thinking about my mission, what I realized is that the value that this podcast is bringing to you guys, the most value is curation, because all of us are busy people and we have our own talents and specifications, and we can't be aware of everything that is happening in the world, of all the research that's happening in different fields of, for example, health or nutrition or neuroscience, right? You cannot be aware of all of this because your job is something else. You're good at something else. You're delivering some other service. You have your other specifications and your other your other jobs, right? You gotta be good at what you do, not at learning everything you can learn about the brain, or again, neuroscience research or health or nutrition, about all of these different protocols of performance and productivity. So it is my job here to bring the most important pieces of research to you with practical application, so you can today start, if not feeling and doing everything better, then start laying the foundation so in the future you do feel, look your best. And today is all about this long-term perspective on your health, and the tools that I'm going to bring to you, the effects of them, you're not necessarily going to be noticing every single day, but over the course of your life, humans live for now on average 80 years. Over the course of that life, it would mean that in, maybe in a year, maybe in 5, in 10 years, but especially at the end of your life, where you accumulate the most experience and wisdom and have the potential to develop something really unique based on that. Are you going to be able to keep your sharpness and your mental capacities, or are you just going to decline? I think we leave on a table so much human potential that can be invested in the development of better societies and businesses. We leave so much of that potential on the table because most people don't think long term. And they think that in 70s and 80s, they declined. But actually, for example, I'm meeting a lot of business people, a lot of investors and scientists who did work on their health for their entire life. And now in their 60s and 70s, they are sharp. They have more knowledge and experience than ever. And they really bring those deeper insights, and they succeed in a lot of areas in life and business. We do get smarter with age if we take care of our health and of our brain, because those are organs. And if we don't invest in them continuously over the course of our life, decline is going to happen instead of developing your full, set of talents and wisdom based on your life experience. So don't decline, folks. Invest today, and decade after decade, you're going to be more and more amazing human being who going to have more and more potential to create something cool, something awesome, something that will change your life because you had your own unique life and work experiences. So a little bit of backstory, folks. When I was a kid, I was a very sick kid. I would literally get sick every couple of months. Or if there was, some flu season or something else, I would definitely get it. And then I would stay sick for 2, 3, sometimes like the entire months. And I would get from sickness to sickness. And my diet back then, it was okay. My parents were never into junk food. It was not even available back then. I was born in Russia, spent my childhood and teenage years there. Um, and so we had whole foods, but the variety wasn't there. And I was such a picky eater as a kid. Like my mom had to make me eat a lot of foods. I would just eat very certain foods. If it was meat or fish, I would only, choose like the least, I don't know, animal looking parts, like maybe chicken breast, etc. Vegetables, forget about it. Like I hated vegetables. I do not remember eating green vegetables. Like I would eat things like potatoes or carrots, etc. But not so much any other vegetables. Plus they were not available. And fish or something like that, I was also not a fan. Yeah, I was a picky eater. And then teenage years came and I started dieting, and that didn't make things better until I got smarter. And so a combination of that and back in Siberia, no sunshine, and just not the best environment for developing good immune system. So I was a very sick child. But then after I got smarter and, I grew up and I had my health and nutrition certifications, and I improved my practice over the years better and better and better. And I focused on my whole body health and really dialed in my nutrition and lifestyle. And now I don't remember when the last time I was sick. And throughout pandemic, I didn't get COVID. I didn't even get any flu or flu-like stuff. I traveled the world. I lived in a co-living with a bunch of people from around the world. So, and I never wore masks. Really, I was like the least wearing mask person. I just, always believed that our health is our responsibility, and masks never did much sense. Like, except if you're sick, yeah, don't go around and sneeze on other people. That made sense to me. But other than that, anyhow, so I didn't get sick. I don't get sick. I completely changed and rewired my health and my immune system. And a lot of my clients come to me to get help with actually immune system, because they're business people and they start getting sick like every month or so. And that's, really takes a toll on your life and your business and your progress, etc. And so the point is, I started investing in my health every single day. And since then, a lot of things change. And what allows me to do ultimately is to keep going day after things that are important and essential to me, and keep building that momentum while a lot of other people go on this roller coaster that I was on, going up with, my practice, my health, my energy, my productivity, up and down. And that does not allow people to create momentum, and you kind of get stuck on the same level. And a lot of things can keep you stuck without you getting sick and getting your energy low and getting your motivation and productivity low. A lot of things, will make your progress slower, but if you do not show up for yourself every day, then you almost have no chance to succeed and move forward. And that's why, folks, and also over the years, you accumulate again that experience, those talents, that progress. So you want to be in your best shape in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, and in your 70s, where you can really develop something amazing with all of that experience and knowledge and technology that is just getting better. So take care of yourself, folks. And here I have 3 tools today that you clicked for, wanting to listen to this podcast. 3 simple tools, one on nutrition side, and 2 on nutrition side, and 1 on lifestyle side. 3 tools that will allow you to increase that cognitive capacity, that productivity, and your overall long-term health. They're kind of going to help you on all fronts, even though they, again, tools from lifestyle nutrition, but they, based on research, on data we have, they will help you to be more productive, to have greater memory, greater cognitive capacities, better health and energy. And so you could invest all of that into development of your unique talents, of your ideas, of your business, and enjoying your life at the same time. So without further ado, let's dig into these tools. Tool number one, freaking cinnamon. Cinnamon improves learning capacity and memory. And why I decided to share with you this information about cinnamon, because I have Google Alerts set up, and it brings to me all the research in the areas that are important to me and interesting to me, like brain nutrition. And so cinnamon, the research, there has been a analysis. So they did this analysis of different studies available. So scientists, they analyzed 2,600 studies from multiple databases in PubMed, Scopus, Google Scholar. So basically really great studies, really great resources. So they analyzed 2,605 studies, and some of them were on patients. Some of those were, studies on living organisms like humans, mice, animals, and some were outside of living organisms, like in different tissues and cells. And so what they found is cinnamon, most studies reported that cinnamon might be useful for preventing and reducing cognitive function impairment. It can be used as an adjuvant in treatment of related diseases. So basically, it helps you to improve your cognitive capacity, prevent cognitive decline. The reviewers' authors noted that in most of the studies, the results indicated that cinnamon significantly improved learning and memory capacity. And folks, we are human beings. Everything you are becoming is your memory capacity and your learning. If you don't remember shit, you learn really poorly, guess what? You're going to be accumulating those talents and that experience really slow, losing most of it along the way. And so that's why I believe when we have things like a lot of studies on cinnamon, and cinnamon, folks, why cinnamon works? Because it has all these different compounds, all these different polyphenols, antioxidants, some, cinnamic acid, and some other stuff. Well, a lot of compounds that are being researched, they have this synergistic effect when consumed regularly. Of course, it's not that you get cinnamon and you get your learning and memory improved. Not smart drug. But when you take it over the course of your life, and the easy way I like to take it, two ways. I put it in my coffee or tea, drinks, whatever that is, and I put it in my yogurt or something, like berries, dessert-like, snack-like stuff. Sometimes I might put it even in my salads, but you can put it basically anywhere, right? So coffee, tea, yogurts, those, or smoothies, those are my favorite ways to get that cinnamon. I suggest, half a teaspoon, whatever you can. There is no indication in the paper that I'm reading about the dosage, but I suggest, half a teaspoon, but do it every day. Cinnamon is cheap. When I'm in a Starbucks or somewhere else and I ask for cinnamon and they give me this shaker, whatever that is, where the cinnamon is, and sprinkler, and I start sprinkling. I usually open it up and I just take, the spoon or something and put it in my coffee, and they always kind of look funny at me. But that's what you want to get with those natural compounds. You kind of want to get the bulk, not necessarily, the whole sprinkler, but like half a teaspoon at least every single day, and you're going to improve your learning capacity and you're going to improve your memory. And those things, again, this is what we humans are. Without our learning ability and memories, we are nothing, just a bunch of organs put together. No great ideas come from poor memory and poor learning abilities. So cinnamon, folks, improves memory, learning capacity, a lot of studies, and we still are learning how exactly it works. So this is nutrition tool number one, add cinnamon for improved learning and memory capacity. Now the second tool, choline Choline is an essential nutrient. They consider it another B vitamin that was never mentioned before. The article, it is SciTech Daily, choline, an essential brain-boosting nutrient that most Americans are lacking. And again, I'm bringing this to you because I'm reading more and more papers and research, and I've been taking the precursor of choline, or what can be converted into choline alpha GPC. It's a supplement recommended by Andrew Huberman, famous neuroscientist from Stanford, and he's been talking about that it's one of the supplements that he's been taking for learning, for when he needs to really focus. That is important for that also. So I've been taking it for a couple of years now. Tony Robbins, in his book Life Force, it's kind of accumulation of all the technologies and strategies to live a long, healthy life. That was the only brain supplement that he mentioned in his book. Choline, that's another kind of supplement that provides the source of choline in our body. And so the reason why I'm telling this to you, because nutrition is a young science. A lot of vitamins and minerals were just discovered at the beginning of the 20th century, and we're still discovering them or figuring out how they work. And so some nutrients that were not considered essential now are considered essential, like choline. You still do not find it in most multivitamin supplements, for example. And it's kind of bulky. You need to take a lot of it to get the dosage. So choline, but you can also get it from food. But the problem is foods that contain the most choline, like eggs, people avoid because a lot of people still think that cholesterol in that will affect their heart health. Will not. What affects your heart health is overall poor lifestyle and nutrition, not cholesterol in eggs. By the way, most of cholesterol is made by your liver. What is delivered in your eggs is a very tiny percentage of that. And that is not usually the cholesterol that ends up in your plaques. That one the liver makes for different purposes. But anyhow, back to choline, an essential brain boosting nutrient that most Americans are lacking. Choline, a crucial nutrient produced in the liver and present in foods such as eggs, broccoli, beans, meat, poultry, vital to human health. A new study finds that deficiency in dietary choline can negatively impact the body and could play a role in development of Alzheimer's disease. Now, more than 90% of Americans are failing to meet the recommended daily intake of choline. The current study in mice, folks, that's not in people yet, probably not ethical to make those studies, showed that a lack of dietary choline can lead to profound negative effects on organs like the heart, liver, and others. Lack of adequate choline is linked with profound changes in the brain associated with Alzheimer's that we already talked about. The study, study on choline deficiency in mice causes significant weight gain and alterations in glucose metabolisms, which are tied to conditions such as diabetes, right? So it also, let me see, there was, choline, why choline is also important for brain performance, folks, because choline is needed for things like formation of memories or creating great sleep cycle, specifically rapid eye movement sleep seems to be requiring choline, and that's where we connect the dots, we get our best ideas. That's where the bedrock of this is the bed of your creativity. Rapid eye movement also helps us to mend our mental health, so to speak, putting all the experiences that we get throughout our days into a more coherent picture, very often removing the emotional component of that, so we don't get stuck into emotional patterns, but instead incorporate in a healthy way all of the experiences without getting stuck on them. Choline is builds cell membranes and helps regulate gene expression. A little bit more. So choline deficient mice exhibit symptoms associated with different diseases. Dietary choline deficiency results in liver damage, enlargement of the heart, neurologic alterations. So the basic idea is choline is an essential nutrient, and just like a lot of B vitamins, it is involved in so many processes in the body and in the brain. Again, it's your learning abilities, it's your memory, it's also choline is made into acetylcholine, this neurotransmitter in the brain that is required to make you pay attention, to help you to focus. So choline has this profound effect. It also is needed for muscle strength, muscle contraction, right? And as we already talked, it can cause anything from Alzheimer to weight gain to poor glucose metabolism. And all of that, of course, contributes to poor mental performance. So choline, folks, why is it important to focus on that specifically? Well, because we need quite a lot of it. Recommended daily amount is about 450 for women, 550 milligrams of it. And it's like half a gram. And the foods that are rich in choline, like really rich in choline, the richest source are eggs, and you need to eat 3-4 eggs per day to get all of your choline. Then, of course, you can accumulate more choline from foods like meats and fish and dairy products. But then again, more and more people are eating less and less of those for one reason or the other, or eating poor versions of those foods, processed meats or dairy products that are sweetened with a bunch of sugar and are diluted by all different stuff and do not contain all that much choline, right? Or people do not eat fish all that much for whichever reason. And then, when it comes to things like Brussels sprouts or broccoli or nuts and seeds and whole grains, like you have to eat pounds of that. And that also could be a possible scenario if people ate whole foods most of the time, 90% and more. But because, folks, you might be not eating enough of whole foods, you definitely might not be eating enough eggs and liver, you might not be getting all that choline and suffering with all kinds of health and mental complications because you simply do not eat enough of those good whole foods, especially eggs. Liver also is a great source of choline because actually choline is produced in the liver of living animals. So if you eat chicken livers, my favorites, or any other kind of liver, you're going to get all of your choline in one swoop. And, researchers even hesitate to say that the recommended amount, just like with most of the nutrients, is even adequate. And 90% of Americans, for example, do not meet that. I'm not American. You might not be American, but Americans do a lot of studies. So chances are there is a huge percentage of population globally that is not getting that choline from those eggs or liver or meat and poultry and dairy products, instead trying to go vegan and not supplementing appropriately, right? That all, saying this, add your eggs, eat your eggs, add your eggs to your diet, 3-4 eggs every single day. Another strategy is to supplement with either acetylcholine or alpha GPC. Start with 200-300 milligrams per day. Probably up to 6 milligrams is a safe good amount distributed throughout the day. I usually take 300 milligrams. That's what's recommended also by Andrew Huberman. And then I also eat my eggs and a whole food diet. So eggs, liver, supplement folks with 300 milligrams or so acetylcholine, alpha GPC, different choline supplements, but alpha GPC and acetylcholine seem to be the best sources of available and safe choline supplementation in the body and brain. And again, folks, why we are talking about that on Brains Coach podcast also, because choline is hugely important for attention, for focus, needed for all learning and memory. Choline is needed for rapid eye movement, sleep, and staying creative and mentally healthy. So eat your choline, folks. And plus, seems to be a good evidence that choline deficiency can be contributing in a big way to Alzheimer's disease. And Alzheimer's disease, folks, is one of the worst things that can happen to you as you age. And it takes time to develop. And then, when you are supposed to have all of your experiences and talents accumulated and sharing it with the world in the form of your businesses or ideas and becoming one of a kind expert, instead, you might be getting dementia and Alzheimer and not able to share any of that, and instead declining and having a very poor life experience at the end of your life. That could be, again, the richest the richest experience of your life. And I'm not, just talking about financially. I'm also talking about enjoying your life to the fullest. And all of your life experiences are going through your brain, folks. If we do not have the capacity to have a fully functional brain at the end of our life, so what's going to happen? We're just not going to be able to enjoy your life because all of your sensory input goes through your brain. Everything you hear, everything you taste, everything you touch goes through your brain. If your brain doesn't work properly, you're not going to be able to experience life. So choline, folks, cinnamon, you got your recommendations. And then the last piece, I always tell my clients to pay attention to their sleep timing, not just the quality and not just the quantity, but also when you go to sleep, or in other words, regularity. When you go to sleep, when you wake up, the timing is important. I just finished listening to Andrew Huberman's podcast. He did this podcast with a neuroscientist who studies different sleep cycles and function of the sleep and how it influences our health and performance and hormones. So it's the episode that was done last week. And they talked a lot about regularity on this podcast and how not going to bed in the same hour every day affects the amount of growth hormone released, for example. It's like if you don't get it on the same time earlier, and you, for example, fall asleep after your bedtime in 2 hours, then you're not gonna be getting that growth hormone that is hugely important for a lot of processes in the body. It's not just, physical recovery or muscle growth or creation of certain hormones. It's a lot of things in the brain and a lot of different organs. So the basic idea, folks, and I highly recommend you to check out this podcast, is if you don't sleep on the same time, certain processes just do not happen in your body and brain. It's kind of like the first cycle of your sleep seems to be hugely important, your deep sleep and all the other cycles, REM sleep and non-deep sleep. And so if you don't get your sleep on the same schedule, so certain things just don't happen. And if your sleep time is all over the place all the time, then guess what, guys? All these processes that are needed to happen from cleaning of your brain that happens in our lymphatic system that was discovered pretty recently. It's kind of like the sweeping out of all the garbage, and it has to happen on certain time. There are certain what they call either waves or something like that basically pressing this stuff out of our brain. Now it is scheduled to happen earlier in your sleep. Just like growth hormone peak is scheduled to happen earlier in your sleep. But that is if you go to sleep on the same time, because your brain and body, the only way they can track the time and when things are supposed to happen, the only way they do it is when you do them on the same time. If you do it all over the place, be that eating of your meals or sleeping, guess what? All of these processes get inefficient, and some things can't even happen. Like that, again, sweeping out of stuff, not going to be happening all that well. And growth hormone release, so you might be training in the gym and hoping to recover and getting all of your 8 hours, but if those 8 hours to plus minus 2 hours all over the place, then it's not going to be as effective. And as an optimizer here, listening to the podcast, you need to be aware of the fact that if you want to get maximum benefit when it comes to cognitive performance and your physical health and energy from your sleep, if you want to optimize that, not only you gotta get your 8 hours, not only you gotta optimize your environment to make sure those 8 hours of great quality, you also have to sleep on the same hour most of the nights to get all of the benefits that sleep is supposed to bring to you. So this is an important piece of advice, folks. Tune into this episode with Andrew Huberman. It was, again, the episode that he did last week. But just remember, and you can also Google this information, the sleep timing, how changing that timing can be negatively affecting the way that your health and mental performance and also your actually mental health, because other cycles of your sleep also do not happen effectively, like rapid eye movement sleep, not the same quality and not the same amount, etc. So the takeaway, the lifestyle takeaway, is go to bed most of nights on the same time and wake up on the same time. So plus minus, like 30 minutes. And the same goes for food, by the way, guys. The more regular you are with your sleep time, the better your sleep, or not sleep, but food gets, and the more your digestion is optimized and absorption of nutrients and elimination of negative stuff, the more regular you are with timing of different stuff, the better the quality of those processes get. That's the main takeaway. So regularity, specifically in sleep time when you go to bed, whether it's 2 hours later or early, it actually does matter a lot. And there is a really, really, really good data confirming that. So please do freak out a little bit. And if you've been sleeping all over the place, it's time to change this. And it's your responsibility, folks, to build up that health health capital, this that will last many decades. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself and prevent that decline. How you live your 60s, 70s, and 80s, whether you're going to be delivering into the world your most talents, reaping the most rewards, experiencing your life joyfully, or you're going to decline, having less good life experience, bringing less value into the world, it's up to you, and the choice is daily, right? So get your cinnamon in your coffee or smoothie or yogurt, get your choline, at least start with 300 milligrams, and eat your eggs, eat your liver, eat all of these foods, eat meat and poultry and fish, and sleep on the same time. Those are takeaways, folks. If you need more information, if you need more studies, please do reach out, Angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com. This is my email, Angela@brainbreakthroughcoach.com. Also reach out on Instagram, Angela@brainbodycoach, Angela@brainbodycoach, or Angela@brainbodycoach, not @AngelaBrainBodyCoach. So this is my Instagram, folks. Reach out for more information, or if you'd like to read studies. And also do not forget to share this podcast episode with other people, folks, because it is important. If we as humanity want to be talented and not declining, delivering all of our potential year after year after year, day after day after day, that we need to learn these things, share these things, and make them a common knowledge and common practice. That is more importantly. So please share this episode. That is the most important thing you can do to help other people live their lives better. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have an awesome week, and you'll hear from me very soon.